I wanted to talk about the specter that is haunting North America, the specter of Occupy. Because you cannot evict an idea. You cannot destroy an idea whose time has come by sending in police or by getting a court injunction. And I think the train has already left the station in many ways on this. No matter the evictions that are taking place across the country, no matter what the cops are sent in to do, no matter how many tents are dismantled, I really think that this movement, which didn't start on Wall Street and won't end there either, I really think this movement has already changed the world and already given us a big opening. Yeah, maybe it's not fair to call it a movement per se, but it's an opening that we can't afford to miss. And I say that they don't understand Occupy Wall Street or Occupy Vancouver because I don't think they view it in a global context. Whereas the people who started Occupy Wall Street were inspired by the global rebellion that has been going throughout 2011. It started in Tunisia in many ways with the overthrow of Ben Ali, quickly followed with 3 weeks of just inspiring street mobilizations and battles with the forces of the Mubarak dictatorship, ending in Mubarak being forced to leave. It then very much spread to Spain, and then the Spanish youth and students took the squares of the main cities in Spain, very much inspired by Tahrir. And it was the Spanish Indignados movement that put out a call for a world day of global revolution on October 15th. And I remember the first time someone sent me the Facebook page for this, and I thought, I mean, how ridiculous. You're just gonna call for a global revolution on Facebook? This Spanish movement's not gonna go anywhere. They're just kind of, it's kind of flaky or abstract or whatever. But this was coming out of a really serious struggle and a really serious battle in Spain inspired by the Arab Spring. And all over North America, long before a lot of us usual suspect leftists realized it, that the seeds of Occupy Wall Street and Occupy Vancouver and Occupy North America were being sown. Imaginations were being turned on to this idea, this really simple idea of just taking some public space and keeping it, even if it's against the law, even if there's injunctions against you, even if it's cold out, and so forth. But I think it's because it speaks to something that people have been yearning to see in the public discourse. And I say it's an opening. I think the anti-war movement, which, let's face it, in Canada and probably in the US too, has been stagnant, has been not visible enough, has been looking for ways to capture the public imagination and get back into the debate. The Occupy movement has given us an amazing new framing of the issues. It's given us this great opening to take advantage of. That whole idea of the 99% against the 1%. It's so simple and yet so clearly shatters all the whole neoliberal frame has been shattered, right? For years, progressives would talk about, if only we reframe the issues by putting it in terms of our values, or if only we reframe the issue by using the right language, studying which words do best in focus groups and so forth. But what Occupy Wall Street teaches is that maybe you just need to reframe the issue by naming the guilty party, by actually naming the powers that be, by naming the 1% and condemning them. And clearly people have responded to this. So it's a huge opening for the anti-war movement. The Canadian Peace Alliance recently had our convention in Toronto, the Cross Canada Anti-War Movement, and one of the ways we hope to move into this opening and to speak to the 99% is with a campaign called Peace and Prosperity, not War and Austerity. So I've got the declaration hot off the presses. I've got copies on the table outside. Please do sign up on that. It's all about the need to redirect military spending to social needs, to job creation, green job creation, we hope we need, and so forth. I think the anti-war movement in this coming period really needs to make connections with other movements much more than it has in the past. We can't afford, especially with the excitement around the Occupy movement, to stay in our one-issue silos. So I'm really, really excited about that. The other thing I'm excited about is the chance to really push hard at the issue of Palestine. Here in Canada, I think we're now safe to say as bad, or just about as bad, as the US Congress. We were talking about this in the last session, in terms of the absolute lockdown and the inability of any of our elected officials to muster the courage or the politics needed to speak out for justice in Palestine. But I'm really encouraged because the last year and a half I've been part of the Boat to Gaza project, and last week a sort of secretly planned flotilla along with the Irish boat, the Canadian and Irish boat, managed to sail from Turkey and head towards Gaza. Of course, it was hijacked. People were abducted and mistreated and held in Israeli jails for 5 or 6 days before they were finally released. But this action and these series of flotilla actions, I think, are very much in line with the courage and determination we need to really turn the tide. But I just want to wrap up with long before Occupy Wall Street solidarized with the Freedom Flotilla to Gaza, there was an image going around on social media weeks ago when Occupy Wall Street had started, and it was a Palestinian mother in Gaza. It had this just wonderful sign that I thought captured the need for international solidarity to team up with the Occupy movement. And it was simply besiege Wall Street, not Gaza. And I think we can go from that and be very creative in building our peace and anti-war movements in the months and years ahead. We can occupy Bay Street, not Afghanistan.